Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Look, I've been enjoying this too much. I feel guilty how much I'm enjoying these people that are melting down on Facebook. But I'm starting to get concerned. Like, I've watched so much of this that my heart's actually starting to feel bad for these people. Like, that's got to be terrible that you think half of the country is racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, fascist, Nazis. Like, do you really carry that fear around in your heart? Do you believe what you're saying? And I don't know if they do, because if you really thought Trump was Hitler, would you be just announcing to the public that you're anti the guy that's going to put you in camps? Yeah, I mean, you're putting a target on your back. If you really think that there's going to be a roundup of his political opposition, why would you do that? Why would you announce the fact that, hey, come get me first? So I don't even know if they actually believe it. But some people, I guess some people have to. Because, crying and as performative as some of these people are online, some of these people just, you can tell they are really angry. So let me throw a couple of them at you here. Like these people that are like signing off of their family. That's crazy over politics.
Well, it's happening. The family wants to know what I'm doing for the holidays. I'm going to be here with my dogs and my daughter, who is of childbearing age and now has to get an IUD at 17 years old. Wow. And I'm going to be here with my son, who is a political target. And that should really tell you all you need to know about why I'm not going to be hanging out with y'all for the holidays. So off, choke on your turkey. Bye.
Oh, that's so sweet. She's probably not going to be that miss. Her son's a political target. What does that even mean? Is he gay or something? What rights are y'all talking about losing? What right? What are you talking about? Abortion? Because he already said he would veto a national abortion ban. Roe v. Wade just turned it over to the state. So if you have a problem with abortion, take it up at the state level. That has nothing to do with Trump anymore, but here we go.
Because if you voted for Trump, I genuinely hope you are so happy right now. I hope you're having the greatest day of your life. Because you know what? When your kid is in school one day and there's a school shooting and they die or get sent to the hospital or someone they know gets shot, I hope that you were happy with the thoughts and prayers that come from that. I hope that you were so happy that if your wife gets raped, that she has to have that child.
All right. So there's a lot of these guys here, and let me show you the one that concerns me the most. All right. This is a lady that looks like she's maybe a little bit younger than me, and she is of African American persuasion.
My 13-year-old daughter woke up sobbing this morning because you motherfuckers
That's not very
let
nice.
her know that her beautiful black life does not matter.
Dude, that's child abuse. Telling your kid, hey, 66% of the country thinks your life doesn't matter. You're surrounded by racists who think your life doesn't matter, we don't care if you live or die. Why are you scaring the crap out of your kid like that? That is terrible. I mean, I'm not saying it's child abuse, because maybe if she honestly believes that, she thinks she's doing the right thing. But that is awful. See what it's done? This lady has watched the wrong media, accepted some lies, and then turned around, internalized that, and is now, mentally scarring her daughter. And I'm sure she's not doing it on purpose. I'm not saying this is child abuse. But let's wonder, where is this coming from? Why does everyone say that he's a fascist, that he's evil, that he's racist, sexist, bigot? And of course, the easy answer would be the media. This is MSNBC. Ayman Mohyeldin or something.
Just for a second, imagine how different things would be if the power players within the Republican Party cared less about winning and actually more about America. Imagine if the GOP had turned never Trump after the Access Hollywood tape, after the January 6th insurrection, after we learned about the draconian Project 2025.
Relax.
Instead, the party went all in on their winning horse, endorsing racism, xenophobia, sexism, endorsing violent rhetoric and acts of violence, endorsing a backsliding of our democracy, and doing everything to help Trump get another 4 years in power.
All right, James, you're cherry picking some primetime weekend guy off of MSNBC. That's not like what the astute, normal mainstream media is saying. Okay, what about Jonathan Capehart from the Washington Post on PBS over the weekend? He's saying the same thing. Trump ran on racism.
The role of racism and sexism, misogyny, grievance, white nationalism. That was very much a part of Donald Trump's campaign.
Where?
And I think we need to acknowledge it. We need to talk about it. And
hush. David Brooks, New York Times, also on PBS last Friday. Same thing. It's all racism. It's all evil. Burning crosses. Whatever.
Yeah, well, a million things have shocked me that have not been disqualifying about Donald Trump. I personally think Donald Trump is clearly misogynist. I think he's clearly a racist. I think that's been in his family for generations, frankly. But to make that argument, somehow you also have to explain why the gender gap went down. Why?
Yeah. But it's not just them. Let me play you AOC. Same thing. Fascism. And she's actually in Congress.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives. We cannot give up. We now find ourselves in a time in history that has precedent, and we find ourselves, I believe, in a time where there are, let's say, peers in history of mass movements of people that mobilize to protect one another in times of fascism.
All right, stop. She's doing that thing where everything ends in a question mark with an up inflection, like my kids do sometimes. But, okay, let me try and address this then, because what do we do about media bias? Here's the tough part. I don't think there's much we can do about media bias. Yes, they're allowed. It's legal to go out there and scare people, even if you're not being honest, even if you're doing this all in bad faith, even if you're causing mental health problems all over the world, scaring people into racism, sexism, fascism. But look, you and I know that there's not going to be any camps or loss of rights or no persecution. Half the country isn't racist and whatever. So the media is somewhat causing this. This is where they're getting a lot of these ideas. Politicians too. But I don't think reforming the media is the solution. You can't do a whole lot because the First Amendment, rightfully so. I think the real culprit here would be academia, the indoctrination camps that these people fall out of that give them all these terrible ideas. So what do we do about that? Number one, get rid of the Department of Education. Number two, start with school vouchers. But I would quickly move on to, do we even need public schools altogether? Are we surprised that people who work in public buildings, who work in government buildings on government property, getting checks from the government, are producing students that are pro-government, pro-big government? You know, whoever pays the piper calls the tune. Well, what is hundreds of billions of dollars of government spending? How does that skew the curriculum, the angle, the teaching, the faculty, the material? You can't say it doesn't have any effect. I think this is the natural result. What do you think we should do to fix the media? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there. Welcome to The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Coming up in about 15 minutes, you're going to hear from a former Secret Service agent about the unique situation Trump is walking into, because, you know, the establishment of both sides, Democrats and Republicans, they hate the guy. Almost that old guard of the Republicans, the old neocons, John McCain's two surviving kids. Who else was it? Like George Bush, Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney. All these people are against him now. And of course, the Democrats already hate him. So who's on his side in the establishment? Nobody really. So who's protecting him? Who benefits? Who wants to see something happen to this guy? Or who would be indifferent? Who wouldn't mind if something happened to this guy? I don't want to ascribe bad intentions to people, but that's unique. You haven't seen that before. I'll ask a Secret Service agent about it in about 15 minutes. Right now, though, I noticed something over the weekend. I was watching a lot of these videos of people. I love this new trend of, I'm going to have a mental breakdown. Let me video it for everyone to see. And you know, some of them, they did their little monologue and they were crying and they were all performative and they were making all these harsh statements, and then they looked at their phone. They're like, oh, forgot to hit record. All right, let me pretend to be upset again and record. Bleep. But I noticed my response to these is almost fatherly. Like, I'm starting to be concerned for these people because, okay, you were scared and I was enjoying it at first, but I'm not just pulling up stuff from the day after the election or 2 days after the election. Some of these are new videos from over the weekend. Like, dude, it's been like 4 days for you to cool down. How long are you going to carry this fear? Why don't you relax a little bit? It's all right. Remember, he was already president for 4 years. And none of this stuff happened. There was no internment camps. So I don't know where some of this is coming from. So I played you some earlier. Let me play a few you may not have heard. Yeah, this one. I hope your 4 years are terrible.
Woke up this morning so disappointed in America, and I just want to say, if you contributed to putting a xenophobic, homophobic, misogynistic, racist...
Wait, stop. Let's go ahead and go right here. So my pushback to that isn't, well, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. My pushback to that is, hey, here's some good news. He's not really a xenophobic, racist, bigot, whatever thing that you've been made to believe from the media. They're no more correct about that than they were about Jussie Smollett. They're no more correct about that than they were the kids in cages. They're no more correct about that than they were Dionysus was the theme of the Olympics opening ceremony. He's not. It's okay. Good news. You can go ahead and calm down. You can go to work or find a job and relax. Half of America doesn't hate you. It's okay. It's fine. You're going to be fine. Look, the media is lying to you, which is good because that means half the country isn't out to get you. But no, they've got to hold on to this, right? And the reason they're so emotional is the old cognitive dissonance. When you have a worldview and then you get information that clashes with your worldview, it can be very upsetting, especially for younger people. I'll continue with this.
Transphobic, convicted felon in office. I mean this in the most hateful, disrespectful way possible. I hope the next 4 years of your life are the worst 4 years that you've ever had, because you need a wake.
So I mean this to be disrespectful. I hope you have a terrible 4 years. I thought this was the campaign of joy. I thought y'all were the joy ones. That doesn't sound very joyful. There's no joy in that. There's no respect. Or we're the tolerant ones. No, she just said, I have no respect. I mean this as disrespectfully as possible. I hope you have a terrible 4 years. You know what, lady? I hope you have a great 4 years. I hope the grocery prices, if they go up, it's minimal. It's not 30%. I hope that's good. I hope you get a tax cut. Isn't that evil? Aren't I so mean? Isn't that awful? I hope you get to keep more of the money that you earn. Wouldn't that be awful? I hope they close the border so there's fewer dangerous people out there committing crimes in your neighborhood. I'm such a bad person. What a piece of garbage I am. Oh, this is so great. You're going to be okay. The truth is, we're not really Nazis. We're not really evil. The news is lying to you. And so why don't you come talk to us? Find out. We'll probably be friends in about 10 years or so when you grow up. All right. Midland Friends. If you don't know who Midland is, that drinking problem song. Yeah. Country Friends. I know you know that one. Their Get Lucky Tour is coming to the Pavilion at Toyota Music Factory November 30th. You can get tickets now at livenation.com. But if you listen to the morning show all week long, you'll have a chance to win a pair of tickets for yourself from us here at WBAP. Coming up next, I'm going to talk to that former Secret Service agent about the pickle that Donald Trump is in with his security situation. That's coming up on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. All right, we're going to have some fun here. All right. First, I want to start with Michael Moore. No, you're going to get it. Don't turn the channel. You need to hear this. No, you're going to like it. You're going to like it. This is him making a fool out of himself. So, and the reason is, the pride before the fall. We all enjoy that. I have a hard time staying humble myself. So this probably will happen to me on a long enough time scale. But he made a just really confident prediction over here on MSNBC the day before the election. And it's just, I didn't see this until I think yesterday. I thought this was so delicious. Like, I wish I had seen this when it happened and recorded it myself and just held on to it. But this is just as good. Because Michael Moore wrote an op-ed that got published in a bunch of websites and newspapers and whatnot about 2 months ago that was like, Trump is toast. Trump is done. There's no way Kamala Harris doesn't win this. She's going to run away with it. And so he was asked the day before the election on MSNBC, do you still think Trump is toast? And what did he say?
Last month, you wrote Trump is toast. We're almost 48 hours out from perhaps seeing our first results. But do you stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I just keep wondering the gift that the Trump campaign keeps giving us. I don't think they realize. I don't think they really are in touch with where the majority of Americans are at.
Out of touch.
The majority of Americans do not want this divisiveness. They don't want the threat of violence. No. And I think that they are going to be very surprised. I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA nation by what's going to happen on Tuesday. Not only do I feel, to answer your question, that I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast. Absolutely.
They're going to be so surprised. America doesn't want this. America doesn't want the racism. What about now? What do you say now? The other thing I'm enjoying online here is we're getting really good at this social media stuff, aren't we? And by we, I don't mean the media. I mean you. I mean just regular old Americans, Texans, whatever. So good at it that now the reaction to it was fine. I'm enjoying the reaction to the reaction now. One of the reactions was, do you know what the 4B movement is? Garrett, are you terminally online like me? Do you know what the 4B is? Okay, the 4B movement is sort of the shoehorned ideology that's behind these ladies that are like shaving their heads. Have you seen the ladies shaving their heads? They're going on a sex strike because people don't want them to have abortions. Which, I mean, it sounds like I'm telling you, they're very funny. No, they really are. They're having sex strikes because people don't want them to have abortions. It's like, you know how that works, right? You know, I know y'all had your professors and stuff and probably your third grade teacher telling you all about sex, but you're playing right into their hands. That's exactly what they want. That's like an obese guy saying, I'm going to go on a hunger strike till people stop calling me fat. It's like, well, I mean, you know how this works, right? So the fun part is like, okay, they got upset. They had a little hissy fit. They were emotional. They put it online. Got it. Give them a little grace. They're upset. They're emotional. Fine. 2 days later, 3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, y'all are still doing this. Now you just want to be mad. Now you're just revving yourself up. You know how like when your kid starts to have a fit and the more they have a fit, the more they anger themselves and get themselves all worked up. And now there's pushback against that. I want you to hear some of this. I'm going to start with this guy. He's a black fella. But he has gotten a whole lot of grief, more so than I guess you and me over the last 5 days, because he admitted that he voted for Trump and he's been called all kinds of names and told terrible things and racist, sexist, and homophobe, you're a Nazi fascist, all that fun stuff. And he sounds angry in here, but you can't see it. He's smiling. He is enjoying this. He is scolding the Trump haters, but there's a little tinge of joy in this.
So let me get this straight. My pockets should take into account that you're going to call me a name. You're going to call me Sambo. You're going to call me an Uncle Tom. My pockets should take that into account when I vote. This is why y'all lost. These elementary school tactics don't work on adults. You can tell all y'all are mentally unhinged. I see cutting their hair now. You cutting your hair for what? You're retarded. That's why. No way in the world should somebody else winning an election affect me that damn bad. Y'all are mentally unhinged, and y'all keep letting me know I made the right choice by never voting with y'all. You stupid crying out. That's deep. And what a change. You did all that crying. You cut your hair. What the did it change? You stupid mother.
Man, I can watch that like 10 times in a row and just laugh. Because he's being loud and screaming, but he's making some great points. Shaving your head, how does that help anything? This is one reason you've never seen me like at a protest in the street holding the sign. Because I haven't connected, like, how does that affect change? Like, how does that make legislative change or policy change or change who's in the political seats and the positions of power? Like, I don't understand how you think you're helping the cause. And you don't see that with right wingers, right? No one's ever burned a dumpster over gun rights. No one's ever like set a police precinct on fire because they were pro-life. It's very strange, but it's fun to see people just get fed up and like he wasn't even insulting them. Well, I mean, there were some insults in there for sure, as much as sticking in some salient points in there. What good does shaving your head do? How does that, even if you are fighting this mythical patriarchy, how does that help fight the patriarchy? And here's another guy trying to explain for the people who are saying, I can't believe why Trump won when he's evil, fascist, racist, sexist, bigot, all these horrible things, Nazi, whatever. And here's a guy trying to explain why Trump won.
People did not choose grocery prices over your human rights. People chose grocery prices over your delusions that your rights were being taken away in the first place. Nobody is taking away your rights. Trump was already president, and he didn't take away gay marriage. He didn't enact a national abortion ban. So stop scolding working class people because they didn't prioritize your delusions over their ability to put food on the table. The people who talk so much about privilege don't seem to understand what a privileged position it is to be in, to be able to prioritize your own delusions that your rights are being taken away, to be able to prioritize that over your ability to put food on the table. I see so many people doing anything but reflecting on why the Democrat Party's message was such a resounding failure with the American people this election cycle. This was a sweeping red wave because people are tired of prioritizing fake issues. People are tired of coddling adults who demand that everybody prioritize their feelings over everyone else's ability to feed themselves.
Now, that guy's young. He looks like he's about 20, maybe 22. But I like the point he's making in that these complaints, these grievances, what a luxurious grievance you have. This is your cause célèbre. This is your biggest pain in life. Because for all of human history, for the 200,000 years that we've been a species up until about 50 years ago, human beings didn't have a whole lot of time to deal with this because we were too busy trying to find food and clean water, right? We were busy dying of diarrhea or fighting off animals, or the next tribe came over to come kill us and loot us, or we're fighting off diseases that don't even exist anymore with polio and smallpox and scarlet fever and yellow fever and all these other fevers that you never had one of these. We never had one of these. But once you get past all that, once you get, food and water, then you get your shelter, then you get security. Then you feel safe. You have a steady supply of food. You can start moving on to other things. And when you have all of the vicissitudes in life taken care of, you're still a human being that is built for taking on challenges, for fighting, for going through it. But you have nothing to go through. So I guess you just invent something to go through. I don't know. I don't have a better explanation than that, but I sure am enjoying the heck out of this process. I love how people are just putting it out there for everyone to hear. Coming up next, RT Trevino. He's from the podcast called The Crude Truth. He's going to give you reasons to be optimistic about the price of your gas for the next 4 years. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.